Okay, so this is going to be my updated recovery video for all my followers, and I thought I would update you on how my recovery was going, all the fundraising stuff, and I wanted to make this one more to the point with how everyone else can start their recovery and to become lovely recovered people. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was obviously about what I was diagnosed with, and most of you probably know that that is depression, anxiety, traits of borderline personality disorder. I suffered 2 years of my life battling self-harm, but I've been self-harm free for nearly a year now, which is actually kind of hard to believe. But the first thing we need to talk about is how you actually go into recovery, and the first step you actually have to take is about recognising that you need the help and actually going out and getting yourself the help, which is actually not easy. So when you decide that actually you do want to become recovered, and that could be for lots of different reasons, and actually I think mainly it's not for yourself. What made me want to recover was everyone around me, because when you suffer from a mental health problem, it's not just affecting you, but it affects everyone you know. And for me, I wanted to make everyone else happy, and while I was still suffering, nobody else could be happy. So that is what made me say, look, I'm going to get better, but I'm not going to get better for me. I'm going to get better for everyone else. So the first thing I did was I went to the doctor, and I went with my mum, but I'm not sure what it's like in the country that you live in, but you can go alone. I'm not sure if it's 16 or 18 in your country, but if not, you would need to find an adult. It doesn't have to be a parent if you're not close, like a teacher or a family friend or something like that. And where you go, they can keep it completely confidential unless you're in danger, which pretty much probably hardly ever happens. So only if you said that you were a real danger to yourself or to other people, then your parents would not be told about it. And what happened for me is I was referred to CABH, and I don't know if people actually know what this is, because I think it's just in the UK. It might even just be in England, but it's the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, and what they do is they provide the services and therapy for young people. And people always ask what it's like to go there, if it's really scary, and no, I don't think so. I was very comfortable at CAMH, and I know a lot of people complain about it, but I think it's more about taking out of it what you need, not expecting everyone to just spoon feed you what you need. Because I mean, I went and they supported me, but it was me who needed to do everything, if you see what I mean. And the first thing they do when you get there is you have what's called an assessment, and they will ask you lots of things. You can talk about whatever you like to talk about, and they write out notes in like a little yellow folder thing that's got your name on it, and it's confidential. It goes in a filing cabinet, and only your therapist sees this. But basically they do this in case you have to see another therapist for some reason. It could be because you don't get on, or because they've moved, and this is so that you don't have to go over things again, that they have your notes and they will know you, so you don't have to say it over and over. So you shouldn't be like worried about what they're writing down, so just writing it for their own notes. When I went, I was put on the waiting list for CBT, although I never actually got to the top. I went to my assessment in January 2012, and I was discharged in August 2013, so that's a good 2 years, 1.5 years, 2 years. And I never got to the top of my waiting list, so I don't know what it's like in other places, but the waiting list tends to be bad. But what came up first was family therapy, and this would freak out a lot of people if you said that I'm going to start going to family therapy, because obviously it's not just you who's going to be sitting there, your whole family is going to be there as well. But I think that in the end, family therapy was more beneficial than just me going on my own, because as a family we learned how to cope with what I was going through and how we could change the family structure in order to help me in my recovery. So if you're offered family therapy, I would take it if I were you. Though you shouldn't be scared about what your parents say, because actually, they're there because they want to help you, and they will do whatever they can in order to help you, and they will want to help you in your recovery. So definitely that. So I wanted to talk about how you can recover from things like self-harm, because these like rituals you do, it's like a bad habit, a cycle that it's very hard to break it. So if you get into a habit of hurting yourself, you won't be able to just jump out of it. And then when people say, I'm going to stop self-harming, but you won't wake up one morning and just never do it again, because that's not what happens. Recovery is like a really windy road where you go up and down, you slip up all the time, but you get back up, and that's what it's about. It's like you have a few good days, and for me it would be a couple of days before I relapsed, but it was a couple of days more after every relapse. So but people say that you take one step back but then you take 2 forwards, so even though you slip up sometimes, you're still going in the right direction, even though it doesn't feel like it. And this is where a lot of people actually fall down, because they get it in their heads that they are going to recover and that they're not going to self-harm again, but they forget that it's not not a cycle you can break straight away. So when they relapse, they think that they failed, that they've let themselves down, and then they'll just stop trying to stop self-harming, because they think they failed and that they can't do it, when actually they need to get up again and try the same thing again. And then you do a couple of days, you might relapse, a couple of days you might relapse, but over time those days become longer, so it'll be days and then weeks and then months between relapses, and then hopefully the relapses get so far apart that you actually learn how to fill that behaviour with something else that's just as effective, but it's not harmful. And I actually have a page of alternatives that I'll probably put a link with this video, that you'll probably have to try a lot of things before you find something that works for you. But the important thing is just to keep trying. Like you said, when you relapse, and you have to think about, why did you relapse, and is there something you could have done to stop it, as in training yourself to think in a different way, or to change the behaviour with something else. And then eventually you'll keep going, and then you'll think, actually I don't need to self-harm anymore, which it might be a little while away, but if you keep going with these relapses, but you get back up and you keep trying, it will happen. And I mean, that is how I did it, and it's been a year so far. And I have to say that the urges and impulses, they don't necessarily go away, but it's the way that you've taught yourself to look at it and think about it in a different way, and then act in a different way. So you have to rewire your brain up, and that's why it takes such a long time, because you have to change all of your behaviours. And so if you're thinking about recovering, you've got to know that it's not easy, but also it's not impossible. And if you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, actually you do want to recover, and for whatever reason that you want to recover, and I'm really proud of you just for sitting there and thinking that, because that is the first major step, and it's one that tends to take a long time, and some people don't even make it to that step. So if you're thinking that, then yeah, you have to go out and get yourself help in whatever way that means. You've got to go and get the help, and oh my god, I'd be so proud of you, and it's so worth it, honestly. If you think, oh, I might just live like this forever, because we're all strong people, and all of us can do this if we put our minds to it. And I am so glad that I did it. That one day when I got up and I said, right, I'm going to the doctor, and I'm going to CAMH, and I'm going to make this work. And I did. And I think all of you should have the chance to do the same. So yeah, hopefully this has been helpful. I have no idea, but I'm trying to keep this short. I know it's already been 10 minutes. So I never have any idea how to end these. But yeah, I love you all. Stay strong.